So you're moving here to the Dayton area and you're considering moving to Springboro. And you're asking yourself, how much does it really cost to purchase a house here in the Springboro area? Well, in this video, my team and I came up with the top things that you need to know and the top expenses you'll need to know prior to making that decision. And as an added bonus, what I also did was added what it's going to look like and what you need to know about purchasing in Springboro and really nationwide in 2021. So stick around. What's up, everybody? This is Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group right here in the Dayton area. If this is your first time to our channel, we do tons and tons of videos about everything you need to know about our area. Now, as a military veteran of 14 years and now a military spouse, I've moved so many places. And every time I move somewhere, there was always such a lack of information of where to move to and what to anticipate. That's why we created this channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click that little bell so you're notified every single time we got a new video coming out. Now, honestly, we get tons of phone calls, emails, and texts each and every day from people that are moving to this area. You got some questions and they need some help, and well, we absolutely love it. So if you are coming to this area, you got some questions, you need some help, again, give us a call, text, or email. Heck, shoot us a little paper airplane. Whatever you got to do, we got your back when moving here to the Dayton area. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Springboro. Now, if you haven't seen my videos before, I'm not originally from this area. So when we first got here, there was a ton of different type of information of different places to go to, what the different expenses are, or why to even move in a certain place. Well, this is what we've got from the people that we've moved here and what I've learned since I've moved to the Dayton area. So why move to Springboro? Here's some of the top reasons. First is the proximity to do things. Not only are you kind of halfway, not really halfway, but closer to Cincinnati and of course downtown Dayton, you're also right there next to Austin Landing, which is one of the newer kind of shopping complexes with restaurants and all sorts of shops like a Kohl's, you know, things that you want to go out and do. Heck, there's like even like little lofts in there. It's a really nice area. You also have shops and restaurants all throughout the Springboro area. They've even put in a Warped Wing Brewing that's brand new in one of the newer shopping complexes that they're building out there. Not only that is you're going to get a more upscale feel. You're going to get a little bit more of the newer developments, newer homes. If it's not a newer home, it's usually been through some sort of upgrades. So in comparison to some places that some of the houses, especially in certain parts of Destin, were built in like the 1800s. Yeah, it's going to be bigger homes, bigger lots, and a little bit newer than that. Now, they still get a little bit of that old-time feel as you kind of go down Main Street, which is more towards the school, kind of past that main, like I would almost call like a city center area, where you just kind of go down through there. But for the most part, you're going to find these nice little communities everywhere. Big reason people want to move to Springboro is because of the school systems for the kids. It's rated A+ on a lot of sites like niche.com, and it's arguably one of the best school systems in the greater Dayton area. Arguably, it depends on who you talk to. Not only that, as there's tons of recreation in this area, you've got over 10 parks and green spaces just spread throughout this area. And they're always constantly building new things up. Heck, they even built like a performing arts center out there just within the past couple of years. And it's just growing in a great community. The sense of community in Springboro is really nice. Just a couple of weeks ago, this is in 2021, they started reopening things because of the COVID. We went to that new Warped Wing Brewery to have a beer and get some food, and the atmosphere in that place was really great. And I would say that that's just overall in Springboro. You've got low crime in this area according to some of the sources that we've got online. There's tons of activities and events that are happening. Even in 2020, when we were in the height of COVID, they were still having events and things going on. Now, they did have precautions and everything while this happened, and some of it even went virtual just so that they could have it. But it was so cool that they actually were able to get that going and make it happen. And overall, it's just a friendly feel. I can't mention it enough. When I go out in this community, or when I'm going out and talking to potential sellers, or just doing anything in this area, even going into like the Kroger, which is our main shopping area here, hit that in Meyer. Those are the different like places that we go. Anyway, there's always just really friendly people regardless, and give a smile, you usually get one back, which, you know, from me and my military experience, that was more of a southern thing, but to try to find that in Ohio is really nice. Okay, anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about housing. This is a real estate channel, so let's talk about housing in Springboro. The housing for your median price here in 2021 was around $285,000 for a single family home. It's a high all the way up to $840,000 and a low of $110,000. Now, if you want to compare that to the national average, our national average for a single family home is $217,500. So it seems a little bit more expensive, but just like I had mentioned before, a lot of these houses are bigger in comparison. They are also on bigger lots, so the price per square foot will be comparable. Now, if you are looking to rent for a single family home in this area is average about $1,550 per month. Now, that's as low as $1,100 and a high of $2,200. If you want to compare that to the national average, again, for a single family home, it's about $1,062 per month. Okay, so we're going to kind of break the next part down into the costs associated with purchasing a house. So we've already kind of determined what those purchase prices, what are these other costs that it's going to cost me before I actually get to live in my house, right? Keys in hand, woo, selfie. All right. We're going to have the cost prior to actually closing, and then we're going to have the cost of closing. So let's get into the first one first. Cost prior to closing. We are going to have your EMD, your inspections, and appraisal. Your EMD is called your earnest money deposit. All that is good faith money to say, hey, I'm serious with this contract. Typically, it's somewhere between $500 all the way up to 1% of whatever you agreed to purchase a house for. Knowing the market that we're in now, it's going to be closer to that 1,000 and closer to that 1%, depending on your price point. Now, your inspections, you're going to have this time, like within a certain amount of time after you both agree on a purchase price to get your inspection. I always suggest, even if it's a brand new home, for somebody to go out and get their own inspections. It's kind of like purchasing a car. You don't want to purchase a lemon, right? You don't want to purchase something and have no idea what's going to happen to as soon as you drive off the lot. Well, this is a really big car payment. Just kidding. It's a really big purchase for you not to know what's going on with the home. So there's a couple inspections that you could pay for. And this all happens prior to closing. So again, we got that $1,000, 1% of whatever the purchase price is, and now we got to pay for these inspections. Your standard inspections, by and large in this area, start at about $385. I almost said thousand. $385. Now, typically it's a lot more, especially in the Springboro area, because the houses are bigger. So you're going to be looking probably closer to $400, maybe $500 for a standard inspection, depending on who you use. Now, you could find somebody that's super cheap, and you get somebody super expensive. So I'm just trying to give you an average of what you can anticipate. Your next inspection as well, beyond that scope, is radon. Interesting thing about radon. Radon gas is produced primarily from where the tectonic plates crunch together, and they release this gas that can get trapped in certain structures. What we typically see in our area, in the Dayton area, is that it's in basements, right? And that's typically where we get them trapped, that gas trapped in there. It's super easy to mitigate, but you don't want to live in a place that has it and get sick from that gas. So for that inspection, it's about $140. Your next one is a WDO, or wood destroying organisms. Basically, this is a termite inspection. You want to make sure that there's no active termites, there's no wood rot or anything like that. Now, if you use a loan like a VA, like if you're a veteran, or an FHA type loan, they typically want this to have what they call a clean WDO report prior to closing on the house. You also have chimneys here. So chimney inspection is usually included, depending on who you use for your inspection, as a standard part. Now, if you want a different level, like it's like level 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, a level 2 inspection may cost you an extra $80 for somebody to go out there and take a look. You also have a sewer inspection. If you want to check out the pipes, that's going to cost you an additional, somewhere around $235 for that inspection. And then we also have a mold inspection, which is typically around $300. Now this seems like a lot of stuff for inspections, and yeah, it's a little bit more than what you're standardly going to see like across the nation. And I said standardly, I made it up. Okay. But typically what I see when we go out and have inspections, just to save you some money up front, is your inspector more than likely is going to go out to the property, and if they find a place that has a lot of moisture and they may suspect that there's mold, they're going to put that into the report, and you can always get somebody else out there to go ahead and get that mold report later. Unless you're under a specific part of the contract where that's not going to be viable, if you want to save a little bit of money up front, wait to do that later. Okay, and then after the inspections, what's going to happen is you have this post-inspection agreement. And at least in the state of Ohio, we actually have something that you have to sign and send to the seller, and then they look at it and say, okay, we'll fix these items, and then send it back to you. You guys agree, it's in writing, and then they're going to fix it. Which is different than some states like the other state that I do business in Florida, where we cap our repair limits. There's no cap here. So the sky's the limit when it comes to repairs, which is really advantageous for you as the buyer, which I really enjoy. So that's good. Once you agree to that, then you move forward. If you do not agree, at least you have the opportunity to get out of the contract, at least get your earnest money back. It kind of sucks that you lost that money in the inspections, but at least you didn't get a house that you have all these other problems with. You know, the money pit. Now I'm showing my age, if you remember that movie. Anyway, we also have the next part was once we figured out exactly if we're going to move forward with this contract, at that point, we typically order the appraisal. The appraisal can take some time. Know that the time that it takes from contract all the way to close is 30 to 45 days, and it's mainly because the appraisal takes a while to actually go out and happen. The appraisal is when the bank sends their inspector out, takes a look at the house, gets some comps done, and says, yes, it's at least worth the amount that you agreed to. That costs you $500. Again, that's typically an out-of-pocket cost prior to closing. Now, if it doesn't appraise the value, then you get to renegotiate the contract or do whatever you need to do. Okay, well, we finally waited our 30 to 45 days. We walked through, we did our final home inspection, and now we're getting calculations for what it's going to cost to actually close on this house. So for cost at closing, we typically have 3 different things you have to worry about. You have your down payment, which you probably already know about. You have your closing cost, and you have these prepaid items. So let's get into a little bit more. Closing costs will be all sorts of different things. It could be fees from your institution, your lending institution, so it could be origination fee, underwriting fees, all sorts of lender associated stuff. You also have other things like for title and title search and things like that. All of this accumulates up to somewhere around $3,000 to $5,000, at least in the average median price. Now, if you're looking to the next part for prepaids, we have to prepay certain items like your taxes, your insurance, and even prepaid interest if you have a conventional FHA or some type of loan like that. Now, your taxes in Ohio are a little crazy. Now, if you come from different places in real estate where you get charged once a year for your taxes, that's great. You know, but they don't do that here in Ohio. They've got 2 tax periods. They've got this one in January all the way into June, and then you got July all the way to December. And they split it up between these 2 things they call long proration and short proration, and you're not actually paying for the previous 6 months, you're paying for the previous 6 months. It gets kind of crazy. If you want some more further explanation on it, of course you can reach out to me or any of my team members. We'll be able to help you out with that. But just know that if you see one price for what they pay for taxes, see if that's your half year or if it's the full year, because it might be gone twice. Luckily, we're talking about Springboro, which is not in Montgomery County, and Montgomery County taxes are pretty up there. So you're going to save some money at least there going to Springboro. Of course, your insurance, you're going to pay for at least a year up front of that. That's going to go into your escrow account. Again, escrow just means non-interest bearing account. And then any prepaid interest that you're going to have the time before you start actually paying on the loan. Now, one thing to note, when you do purchase a house, if you've never owned one before, if you rent, you typically go out there and pay first and then you live in it for a month. When you buy, it's the opposite. You get to actually live in it for a month and then you pay. Kind of cool, right? So you can kind of float those numbers when you're transitioning between your rental into a new home. It's kind of nice, right? Okay, and of course you have your down payment. Your down payment for conventional can be anywhere between 5, 10, 15, or 20+%, whatever you want to put down. Now, if it's your primary home, you can get away with 5, 10, or 15. Now, if it's going to be an investment or a secondary home, more than likely you're going to pay 20 to 30% down in order for that to get approved from your lending institution. If you are an FHA type loan, you're going to put down about 3.5%. And if you're a veteran and you have access to a VA loan, it is 0, just like me, 0% down. One great thing about that, or caveat to that rather, is that if you are a veteran, just know that they do charge a fee that gets tacked on top of the loan that you pay over the period, we'll say 30 years. But if you want some more information on that, of course, reach out to me or anybody here on my team. One thing also people think is that they have to pay as buyers a commission to us as real estate agents. That's actually not true. Normally what happens is that the listing agent negotiates a certain percentage to sell that house. And we'll just say, without violating any sort of laws, that we'll just say that it's somewhere around 6%. Not to say that that's a hard and fast rule, but we'll say it's somewhere around there. And they agree that 3% goes to the listing agent and 3% goes to the selling agent, which is the person representing you as the buyer. But that all comes from the seller. That does not come from you as the buyer. The offset that I like to think of it as is because you're paying all those closing costs, the cost of doing business, the seller then pays for the cost of the marketing and the real estate agent. So you do not pay for your real estate agent, with very, very few exceptions. There may be other fees or something associated with that. Our team here, we don't charge any additional fees to work with you, but there are some teams that do. Please ask them up front prior to negotiating, working with them exclusively. Okay, so I told you that we were going to add what to expect in 2021 when purchasing in Springboro and Dayton at large. So let's talk about it. First things first is you're gonna be competing with somebody. If something is priced right, priced per the market, is dressed right, it looks pretty, you're probably gonna compete with other buyers. Now, as much as I would love to know what those other offers are, we typically don't have any idea what it is. So we have to come in strong when you're going to compete in what we call a multiple offer situation. Know also that you're going to have to pay list price or over whatever the list price is. Now, that's just what's going on right now. To be competitive, to win these bids, people are offering thousands of dollars off. And I'm going to tell you that I had just put one in probably about a week ago for a home that was about $500,000, and we went $21,000 over the list price, and we still lost. Ridiculous right now. Know that. Now, there are some things that you need to be aware of. Maybe this house still isn't going to appraise to that value, right? So if that's going to be the case, then you're going to have to come up with a little bit more creative options when it comes to what you're going to do with that appraisal. So if it doesn't appraise to value, or am I going to come out of pocket? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that in order to make that work? But those are some options to definitely consider with your real estate agent. Also, you're going to need to make a quick decision. Again, something's priced right and dressed right, it's going to go very, very quickly. Now, when I say it's going to go quickly, it doesn't mean it's going to sell in that time, but it is going to go under contract. So just know that you're going to have to make a quick decision with this. It might be to send your real estate agent out there to do a quick video so you can watch it via FaceTime or Zoom or whatever that you want to use. Or it might be just getting out there as quickly as possible, or even purchasing or putting in an offer sight unseen. That's what it takes for you to get the house that you desire and the correct area that meets your criteria. Okay, next is you'll be paying all your own closing costs. We used to be able to get the sellers to pay like a certain amount of our closing costs. Right now we're not seeing that. You're not getting any assistance from the seller at this time to pay for any of your, couple $1,000s of closing costs. Now, you will pay for your own home warranty. I mean, if you want it. Now, the last couple of warranties that we used were kind of trash. All right, I'm not gonna put those names out there because I don't want to put that in the universe. If you want to know a little bit more about those companies, you can reach out to me just with my personal experience. But in any case, if you find the right one, it's typically a few $100, like $500. Just know that you'll be paying out to cover that house for the next year for any major defects of the home, like your HVAC, your heating and cooling, things like that, to get somebody out there for a fee. And I won't get more into that. Also know that when it comes to actually getting in and putting in offers, that you and your real estate agent are going to need to get creative in certain scenarios under multiple offers. What do I mean by that? You're going to just see some different verbiage. I've even seen offers come in for our listings that aren't even asking for an inspection period. They're just going to go as is and not even know, just go into a blind, which seems crazy to me. But there's different ways that you need to get creative with these offers so that you can get it accepted beyond just price and closing cost. It's been getting to that point. So if we do have some suggestions for you, then we'll kind of go forward with that. But anticipate, at least with our team, that we may need to take some different steps in different directions in order for you to win a bid. And that's what you can anticipate in 2021 purchasing a house here. So that's all that I have for you for how much does it cost to buy a house in Springboro. If you have any questions about anything that I put in here, again, go ahead and leave it here in the comments below. If you are moving to Springboro and you have some questions and need some help, or any of the surrounding areas in Dayton, again, give myself, my team a call. Call, text, or email this number right here below. Definitely reach out to us. We'll be happy to help out any way that we can. Again, I'm Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group here with eXp Realty here in Dayton, and we'll talk to you soon. See you in the next video.